Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today on our YouTube channel, The Duchess of Unicorn. And I'm looking right now at People Magazine. I'm in America, and People Magazine seems to be where we get the majority of our spoon feeding from the Markle camp. And now it's regurgitated information. Meghan Markle goes into incognito to volunteer at Toronto charity in never before seen photo. December 9th, this is. And so it's talking about the St. Felix Center, which is in Toronto. I'm in America, so Canada I know very little about. But Meghan did her show Suits there and relocated for a while. And so I guess in her downtime, which apparently she had plenty of, she would go to this volunteer. She would go into this kitchen and volunteer. So it seems once again, she's dealing with volunteering with food. And I'm wondering if any of that volunteering with food is an authentic love, which I kind of feel it is. But the flip side is any part of that, around her blog and where she was going to, where she was going in a secondary career. So she was an actress who had the TIG, and it was more like a lifestyle blog, and she was traveling and eating and interviewing people and fashion. And it seems like she was like the younger Martha Stewart type of thing. Like she was trying to go in that direction, in my opinion. And not as cultured, of course, but someone who has just used her money and her status as a struggling actress on a B film or B series on a B channel, to kind of catapult herself into a secondary career. Because I think all in all, every actor knows that, the series that you're on or the project that you're working on can end at any time. It's just a word from, the higher ups, and the show is canceled. And so she'd get royalties from, having reruns and all that stuff. But she was definitely maybe thinking of a secondary career. So she created the TIG. It was kind of in her wheelhouse because she was, traveling and discovering things in an authentic way, and into fashion and Hollywood and cosmetics and perfume and clothing. And so that was in her wheelhouse. And so it would make sense if she did something like traveling and blogging about it, or while she's traveling eating, and while she's traveling fashion and interviewing people, and then opening a store or a shop on the TIG for things that she thought made sense, or some relationships that she had cultivated while she had the blog, and some exchanges between some companies, maybe some sponsorships. She was an influencer as well. So in short, I think maybe we can kind of say it's possible she was looking for a second backup career, considering that she was 30 something years old. And, after 30 something years and being an actress, struggling actress for so long, and then landing Suits after she married her first husband, hint, hint, Trevor Engelson, perhaps doors opened for her, being that he was a producer. And basically, it was a way that she could make sure that if her first career kind of dwindled down, because at 40, 30-ish and 40, if you haven't already made it in the acting world, like say, you're not already Jennifer Aniston, you're not already an A-lister, and you're in your 30s and you're going into your 40s, well, you kind of know that the struggle has got to come to an end. You either have to sink or jump ship. And I don't think she was planning on jumping ship anytime soon. So instead of jumping ship, she kind of cultivated that blog, The Tig. And so I wonder if this blog, The Tig, is resurfacing because she never really let it go forever. She maybe, in my opinion, I'm thinking like she got with Prince Harry and that was plan A. But plan B was that she was going to finish out, she was going to ride that surfboard all the way to the end of the USA Suits series. She was going to, obviously be open to other gigs and happenings. But she had the blog, The Tig, kind of going, and it was gaining momentum, and it was travel, lifestyle, food. It was everything encompassing what she really was doing in Hollywood, going to premieres, going to parties, meeting people, playing dress up, endorsing products. She had a clothing line in a Toronto store that was launched, and you don't hear too much about that anymore, so we don't know what that's about, but I think it looked better. I remember seeing a picture of it, and I think it looked better than the stuff that she had in SmartWorks. It was just, SmartWorks was so Mrs. Doubtfire, kind of, with a little savvy. It wasn't really, it was square stuff and typical stuff that is in offices that when you're maybe a secretary or something like that. But today people are wearing more trendy things. And I think her line of clothing for the Toronto store, when I saw it years ago, it looked pretty decently trendy, but sharp. So it would be something I think I would wear. I don't think she had everybody's size, but I think that the point is that I think it was something more trendy and on point. My dog's barking. So, without going too long, but yeah, The Tig is resurfacing. They're saying right here that Meghan's holiday gift guide from The Tig has resurfaced, and it has. And I was doing my first video, which was not too long ago, and I noticed that I found The Tig in archives. And when I found The Tig in archives and I opened it up, I found that her shop link was still clickable. It was still open, and you could shop it. You could pick stuff out. Some stuff was out of stock, but you could still click on it. And so now, weeks later, I'm thinking, I wonder if some stuff has been revamped there and stuff has been moved in and out, and she's refreshing that, and it's gearing up to be, someplace that we can shop, because she's going to use her name and her fame to kind of get that extra income outlet going again. And it really strikes me as interesting because now it's kind of in conjuncture with the Queen. Kind of, she's not, like, Meghan and Harry are not going to be at Sandringham for that annual Christmas thing that the royals do, which I think I've seen it every year since I can remember on like a news report or online. So they're not going to be doing that. So it seems like the Queen is kind of not shooed her away publicly, but kind of just been like, okay, you over there and we're over here. The cool kids are over here and you are on the outs. And I don't know if that's because of her suing all the publications, the bad press with her family. Not seeing your father and writing your father off is unbelievable for someone who the whole world and anybody that's ever met them knows that the father, although he may not be perfect, and who is, that the father himself has always supported her and put her through school and done basically everything for her. And now we're seeing that in the public eye. And you just, let me type this in. You just don't see her even reaching out to him, and shunning him like that is amazing. And so I feel she is starting herself to be shunned by the very organization that she married into to help her get ahead, in my opinion, and to have that romance with Prince Harry. Although I'm not so sure I buy into the romance. I want to, but I'm not so sure. There's just something missing. There's just this thing, this vapidness that's missing between them. And I think Meghan is teaching Harry how to be a great actor. Or maybe it's Harry that's teaching Meghan to be a great actress. I just feel like maybe they have something in common besides anything else that people normally would say, like, oh, they fell in love because they have, something in common. Well, maybe they have this in common, that they have a great streak to pretend. Because let's face it, Harry had to put on a brave face when his mom passed away. He had, the royals in general have a front to put up, just because they're royals. So we don't know who it is. But what I do know is how I feel. And I feel like you see an awful lot of photos on the internet of just Meghan and her dad. You hardly ever see photos of Meghan and her mother. Not that that means anything too deep. I'm just saying a fact. In my view, when I look on the internet in America, where I'm at, I hardly ever see Meghan and her mother together in photos, not to include her baby pictures or her, younger days, baby to 4 or 5. That's all you see, seeing a lot of baby pictures with her and her mother, or the mother, Doria and her. But you don't see like a lot of them as she gets to her teen years and her younger adult years. What I have come across on the internet with Doria, her mother, is pictures of Meghan and Doria as both adults. Like Meghan's traveling and she's blogging it on her social media that they're on vacation, and there's her mother with her, both in a bikini. I'm sure everybody's seen it. You'll see that photo, but you don't see anything else. You see maybe a handful or two. So it's very suspect that you don't see much about Doria and Meghan, but you do see an awful lot of photos on the internet of Meghan and her dad. You do find articles of people who have met Thomas Markle and who have said that he was always there for his daughter at school functions, or he paid for her college, or he babied her. Family members have been saying that from the very beginning, that Meghan was very, very loved and adored by her father as being the youngest child that he had, and being, she's a girl, and, all that jazz, whatever it is, but he's always been very attentive and affectionate and cared for her. In fact, you hear that she lived with him for her high school years before she went off to college. And he obviously did a lot for her in school and plays, and people step forward and have said that. And you don't hear anyone stepping forward and saying, oh, Doria and Meghan, they were always together. Doria did everything for Meghan. She went to her class plays. She volunteered at the school. You hear nothing. Like, I have not heard anything. Not that it's not out there. I haven't heard of it. It's not been in any article that I can find. So if anybody knows of an article where it says her mother, Doria, was always there for her, put her through school, was always at school functions, volunteered at the school, took her here and there. I mean, I've read like 1 or 2 articles about when she was in like a Christian academy, and her mother would pick her up after school and go to her store that they had when she was younger or whatever. But I don't hear anything else, and you haven't heard anything else since. So I feel like there's a disconnect with how can you be any kind of good parent when you have issues with your parent. You have to try to, while they're alive, of course, you have to try to reach out and discuss things and come to, an agreement of sorts, and come together, especially for a newer generation. And it's really, it's just really weird that marrying into a royal family, Prince Harry did call Thomas Markle, but he had never met him. So, as it's reported that they've never met. So really what goes on in the real, like we don't know if they took a 1 a.m. flight and had Thomas Markle take a flight to Amsterdam and meet. We just, there's just so much stuff that we don't know as just the public. We don't know everything, and nor should we assume we do. Again, I'm offering my opinions based on what I'm seeing on public domains, what I'm reading, and what's reported in the news. And again, People magazine in America seems to is being forced a lot of information on Meghan. Like it's Sunshine Sachs maybe is kind of pushing this through, but it's kind of annoying. Now it says Meghan Markle's estranged sister says Samantha says constant cyberbullying is overwhelming. So I guess that's happening too. Like Samantha is probably subject to a lot of this type of thing. You know, people are digging into her life and really kind of hurting her. And really all she is the sister that is voicing the truth on the family. So she's on the family side and just saying what she knows to be true, and yet she's being victimized for it and bullied for it. And I don't think it's particularly right. But, you know, we all have our own battles, our own lives, our own families, our own issues, and we should leave it at that. But I just want to say for the record, nobody can tell anyone how to live their lives. You have to walk in their shoes, and it's their own journey. So I really don't want to say what I think someone should do, but I would feel that it's all a little strange from the very beginning. Yes, I believe in love. Yes, I think being royal is a wonderful thing that you can, you know, trace your lineage back to a thousand years, let's say, or 100 years, whatever it is. But I really don't think that makes you untouchable, so to speak, like you're not above anybody else. And that's what royalty to me shouldn't be. The only way you're above anybody else is because, yes, you have old money. And we all don't know how that old money had been acquired. Because when you think of it, the British royal family has colonized many other countries and other ethnic groups. So one could say that they took from other people and added to their wealth. And that's how it is in love and war. People go to war and they take what they think is theirs as a prize, or seizing it means it's an asset to them and it's something of a loss to the other culture or country or person. So, but anyway, I digress on that. No, I don't know why my screen does that. I'm not sure why it just doesn't load and stay with, you know. Well,